All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Sorry about that. A little few technical glitches here, but well, up front, these guys are still rolling. They made their pit stops yet, haven't they?
No, I'll catch you up on everything. I say, sorry about the technical difficulties. I'll say thanks for getting it back working as quick as you did. Yeah, I'll say no real pit stops yet. I'll say just a couple guys have, but nothing too crazy. Adam Gillens has been able to get around Daniel Fockingham. You see right now he's chasing after Trey Edson there for the lead at this point. But otherwise, it's still been pretty lockstep. I'll say we talked about how difficult passing is earlier, and it's still the same thing. As say, you still see poor Chad Coleman still trying to find a way to get around that 15 of Nick Silver. Hasn't found a way to make it happen, and say so. Right now, it's just been a really difficult passing situation right now. But tires are definitely worth a lot right now, and I think that's where that short pitting is going to come in. Joey Jatina, unfortunately, he had some damage earlier in the race, and now he's been running in the 20, like mid to high 26s, whereas the leaders are in the 28s right now. So it just goes to show how much faster those new tires are. So I think that's going to be, I say we're on lap 64 right now of 140. So we're getting right to that window of being able to make it here pretty soon on that one stop. So I'm curious to see if somebody's going to try that short pit strategy to either just gain track position or to try to make a couple of jumps on track position as well. Like Daniel Fockingham, he might be one that could actually make that risk because he's got a really nice gap over that fourth place Anthony DeBarro. So that's what we're gonna have to really be looking here for in the next few laps.
Yeah, like I say, the guys have kind of settled in a little bit, and we were watching the battle back here, and still, like I say, Chad Cole's still working over Nick Silver. You got Chad Coleman, excuse me. Chad Cole's working over Chad Coleman there. Those three cars still stuck nose to tail, not been able to make that pass. What the two pit stops here, but the biggest change, like I said, Adam Gillian looked like he's going to try to run down Trey Edson. Trey right now is holding that marker on him. Daniel Falkenham's falling off the pace a little bit along with Anthony Barrow.
Yeah, say Daniel's kind of he's been running pretty close to them. Say it looked like that last time by he may have not hit his marks as well as he wanted to. But yeah, say they've been able to gap fourth place Anthony DeBarro. Nick Cohen was able to get around E.J. O'Rourke for that fifth position, so he's been able to kind of put a gap in now as well. And so now it's, I say now EJ's got a mirror full of Timothy Johnson as well as that 28 machine. As again, I say just behind them, Chad Coleman all over the 15 of Nick Silver just hasn't been able to find a way to make it happen. I'm sure this has been super frustrating for him. But he's been really patient. As I say that, he's sent it in really deep into three. He's gonna make it stick. Of course, as soon as he makes that pass, Nick Silver's gonna pit right here, and that's gonna make Chad Coleman even more frustrated. As I say, here comes Nick Silver, Jose Gonzalez, and Sean Casto. Those are the first of the lead lap cars to make their pit stops here.
And I think, right there, Chad's going, I finally made it around him, and then he goes into the pits and he's going, you got to be kidding me. All that time, but he motored that thing into the inside. That's what he was going to have to do in order to clear and make that pass, but he finally did. It's going to be interesting to see when he's going to come in. Timothy Johnson's on pit road. So we're starting to see the front runners come in with the 68, 69 laps on their tires. You said it. Can they go? If they can go maybe one or two more laps, they can go the whole entire distance. I think that's the plan for Trey, Adam, Chad Cole, and a lot of the other guys are still out there. I think they're planning to go at least probably another couple laps.
Yeah, I think, and I'd say, and that's where there's going to now be that mixed strategy of are you going to pit early, or now do you want to wait and get slightly fresher tires? Maybe that way you can make a charge on them with the newer tires, or with the newer tires later on in the run. So we'll say one thing to note is Daniel Fockingham, he went ahead and pitted that time by, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on Trey here and Adam Gilland. As I say that, Adam's going to duck off here. So he's going to, again, Adam really aggressive on the pit entry there. That's where he's been making his time, though. I mean, he's done really well at doing that. So we'll have to see if make sure he doesn't get any penalties or anything along those lines.
Risk versus
reward.
Risk versus reward.
Oh,
there. I mean,
it's a very big risk versus reward for those entries. But yeah, I'll say right now, yep, here comes Trey Edson. He's not going to wait too long. He's going to go ahead and jump in here. So I think you're going to see Nick Cohan. He's going to stay out. He's going to get that bonus point. Again, we talked about how close these points are Trey Edson had led flag to flag so far this race, so that's going to give Nick Cohen, he's going to be the second car to lead a lap. And again, he was, I believe we said, he was just 1 point out of the lead, or out of the top 4. So that's going to actually, at this point, that'll give him that point on Anthony DeBarro and on Adam Gilliland. But now it's just going to depend on where they cycle through. Oh, it was really close as he enters the pits there with Daniel Fockingham chasing him down there. But I say we're going to take a look to see.
Glenn Campbell's.
So I want to try to see where people are cycling through. So yeah, you're going to see though Daniel Fockingham, he's coming out now. He's ahead of Adam Gilliland, who's also ahead of Trey Edson.
Saw that right moment there. Yeah, Chad Cole. He was a lot of guys were coming up on him. You know, he's at the pit. He almost lost that thing.
Yeah, so he decided, he's like, you know what, I'm coming in here. That was enough for me. But same thing, Chad Cole gets a lap led for that English Auto Dash for cash. So again, that's a point for him there. So I said, I think that's going to just about, and then Chris Jabu. So that's going to cycle everybody through here. So I think it's going to cycle through with Daniel Fockingham having the lead here over, see who's in second once everything ties through. I think it's going to be Adam Gilliland. And then actually, that staying out later, that's really hurt Trey Edson. Trey Edson's actually now behind Timothy Johnston and behind Anthony DeBarro here.
Well, we'll see, though, if the tires can make up the difference. But you're right. He is marred back now behind those guys, back in fifth place. Daniel Falkenham's the man up front. Adam Gillian there in second. Anthony DeBarro sitting in third. Timothy Johnson there in fourth. Damage on the side of that machine. But Trey, he just made it around Timothy. But we'll see if he can claw his way back up. He's going to work over Anthony here soon.
Yeah, so this is where it's going to get pretty busy now. I say because right where Anthony is, I say he's in the third position. Trey Edson made some really good moves there. He's now back up into the fourth spot. He's able to get around some of those guys that we talked about earlier. So that's definitely what he was looking for right there as well.
Yeah, a few cars out of the race. Glenn Campbell, Randy Yoakum, David Comstock officially out of the race right now. Two of them a lap down, obviously. Starting from the 17th on back, Dwayne, Chris Jabu, Doey Wood, Tommy Ryan, Shane Ewing, and Joey Coutinho all lap down. I think that's a lot to do with the pit stops here that's going on with the green flag, which usually that's what that brings about. Guys get spread out on the field, some get a lap down, etc. Daniel Falkenham, he's made the best of it right now out front here at Phoenix. Folks, here tonight, if we go one more race in the season, and we crown a champ. 4 drivers is going to come out of this race tonight. They're going to race next week Homestead to see if they can't win a championship here. 2019 got a lot of money, plus the English Dash for cash, and we've got another reward out there too for leading the most laps. More info of that here coming in next week. So a lot of things going to transpire here in the coming week. Bring this season to a close. It's going to be interesting for the drivers.
Yeah, so they've done a lot of things to try to kind of, like you said, to have some kind of perks and things to try to aim for. So I was saying, like we mentioned with the points, I say I'm trying to keep an eye on those. I say right now, Nick Cohen, Chad Coleman, I say those are the two just 1 point out looking in. They're running 9th and 11th respectively. Say the problem for them is like the same as earlier. Say the top 4 and the points are running top 4 on track. The one thing Nick has going for him, he stayed out. He was able to get that 1 bonus point, which at this moment now it's only been Daniel Fockingham and Trey Edson, as well as Nick Cohen as the main leaders, I should say, of those. But DeBarro and Gilliland, they have yet to lead a lap. So should he get to them, I mean, that's going to be that swing that he's going to need. So definitely something he's going to have to look for as well there.
Trey made the pass over Anthony there, made it clean as that puts him up to third place. We'll see if he's able to claw here and get to Adam Gillian. Got a little bit more work to get up to him. So again, they went so long on the green flag run. He's definitely got enough time to get it done for lap 81 and 140 here. Phoenix in the desert. Typical Phoenix race usually ends up kind of Even though they have the more horsepower, they still got a lot of, a little bit more downforce than what they're having. And cars will handle a little bit better here. Clean air and tires are going to benefit.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like you said, there is a lot more downforce on these cars. That's really keeping these things planted. But I'm trying to keep an eye on the lap times. Once Trey was able to get around Daniel, he ran about a tenth of a second faster that time than them. Waiting for it to come around this time, and again, actually this time he was about 2/10 faster than Daniel and a tenth faster than Adam. So yeah, so that's going to be something to definitely keep an eye on to see how those lap times shake out. Nick Cohen able to get up to the 7th position, got around Jose Gonzalez, or no, sorry, EJ O'Rourke he was able to get around. So I put Nick up to 7th, and then I'm saying he's right there with Nick Silver as well, so he can get up to 6th here pretty quickly. Then he'll have a little bit of a gap to get to Timothy Johnston. So he's starting to get to those guys he needs to, because actually if he can get by Silver and Johnston, that would then have him right behind DeBarro, and I think that would tie them for the points if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, not sure there. Nick Silver's in a battle with Nick Cohen, and he just saw Nick go blowing by him and just shoot off into the front side of him. There's Nick falls back to 7th. Nick falls to 7th. Nick goes to 6th. There you go, folks. That's everybody. Nick Cohen goes to 6th. Nick Silver goes to 7th spot. EJ O'Rourke hangs out in the 8th place. Jose Gonzalez back to 9th. And 10th place there, Chad Coleman. But everyone's looking good. It's Daniel Falkenham still the man in charge of this.
And so I'm taking a look to say if it does, let's say just obviously it's still a long ways to go, but if and when Cohen's able to get around Timothy Johnson, I believe, like I said, I believe that would tie them for points with Nick's bonus points. And then as what would happen there was the tiebreaker starts off with most wins, which I'll say Nick does not have a win in this series as of yet, whereas DeBarro has 2, so I think DeBarro would win the tiebreaker if that was the case at this point in the race.
Okay. Mathematician up here, Gael, I'm going to tell you. He'll get
struggling mathematician, but doing my best.
Hey, you get a lot better than I am. I'd have to pull out, my fingers, toes, and maybe borrow somebody else's to get it done.
But yeah, so saying that's what we talked about with those how long he stayed out. So he's got about 4 to 5 lap fresher tires than those in front of him, other than Trey Edson, and it does make a difference. I mean, he's been running some faster lap times. He's running 27.0s right now, whereas everybody else is in the 27.2, 27.3. So he's clicking them off about 2-3 tenths quicker than the guys in front. Of course, the problem there is still just the distance. So Timothy's about 1.5 seconds ahead. He's definitely a reachable distance. And then Trey Edson, I mean, Trey's going to be a tough one to catch, but DeBarro might be, I don't know, he might be able to kind of be in that reachable distance for him as well, and that would be a really critical pass for Nick.
Now watching Nick Silver right here, EJ O'Rourke got around him. I'm seeing his lap times have fallen off a little bit. I don't know, maybe if he's saving a little here, just anticipation of record at the end or so forth, but not up to speed like he was earlier in the first run. Still hanging on to the 8th place spot. Chad Coleman is moving up. Jose's right there now, closing in. So it's kind of interesting to see, as Nick was doing pretty good. Seems kind of falling off the pace this time. Even like he's about to go down.
Yeah, maybe Nick's just waiting for Chad Coleman to get to him again. That way he can hold him up again for the whole run.
It's frustrated, man, the whole entire time.
However, this time, though, Coleman's got about 5 laps fresher tires than Jose and Nick Silver there. So should Jose not be able to get the job done here, I think Coleman with these fresher tires, you see right there, he can almost make it 3 wide here. It's such a good run there off in 1 and 2. I think Jose might be able to clear. Yeah, Nick's going to actually just roll out of it, let those guys go ahead. Now it's going to open the door here for Coleman to go after Jose. Yeah, if anything, I thought the time to roll out of it would have been in that first run, not the second half of the run. But maybe Nick's not feeling something quite to his liking, or maybe with him pitting early as he did, he has to be a little bit more careful on fuel. Try to save that a little bit just to make sure he can get to the end.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the only thing I can come up with. I mean, a lot of these guys should be able to make it to the 70 laps. Some of them went even further than that. But it just looks like he's in a kind of a save style mode, not pushing that car as hard as what he was. But he's back to 10th. Jose's there in 9th. Chad Coleman went around him. But I tell you what, somebody that ain't saving, that's Daniel Falkenham. He's out front and leading this thing. Adam Gillian right there sitting in 2nd. Trey Edson up to 3rd. Anthony Navarro 4th. Timothy Johnson in 5th. Daniel, he's got a good pace. He's about 1.6 seconds in the lead right now.
Yeah, it's still got a pretty decent gap over Adam. I say he's got 2 lap cars in between himself and Adam as well. That's always something that's beneficial to have. I say, and then I say Nick Cohen just got around Timothy Johnson, so that's going to put Nick up into the 5th position, and I say that one critical spot right now behind Anthony DeBarro. And I say right now there's 1 lap car of Tommy Ryan in between the 2 of them. But I say it's still, they're within about, about 2 seconds or so of each other. So, yeah, Nick can definitely make a race of this on Anthony again, because he's also got about 3 lap fresher tires than DeBarro.
Yes, he does. Looking very good so far. Nick Cohan up the 5th place spot right there. Timothy Johnson's hanging on the 6th. Don't count old Nick out. He definitely trying to get this thing done here tonight. 1 point out. Got a shot.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of those, not risk versus reward per se, but it's one of those, it's a hard deal to do because you're racing your teammates for that final position as things run. Obviously, should anything happen to Adam or something like that, that'll definitely change things up. I say, as I was watching, Daniel Falkenham got really loose off of turn 4. Obviously, he was able to keep it pointed straight and under control. But I say, even the leaders right now are just hanging on to these cars sometimes.
They are, and it's only 25 laps into the run. We saw them go 60 some laps out here. We're 97 into 140. It's about the closing part of the race. Let's say 3rd quarter of it here. As Daniel's still out front, like you just said, Adam right there in 2nd, trying to be one of those top 4. Trey sitting in 3rd, Anthony 4th, Nick up to 5th. So the top 5 guys right now are all chase drivers. Chad Coleman get up there to be the top 6. It'll all be chase drivers. And that right there tells you, wow, it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, and I was saying that kind of proves why they got to this point in the top 8. It just shows how fast these guys are week in and week out. I say also kind of coming through some trouble. I say obviously Coleman had a hard time passing earlier, but able to recover. Now he's moved up to 7th. I say he's going to be trying to work on Timothy Johnson there for 6th. Still got a couple seconds to try to catch him, but again, he's on fresher tires. I believe 4 lap fresher as well. So that's definitely going to play a role. I think of the lead drivers right now, though, I think the one who's going to have the hardest time getting back to where he was is Trey Edson. Again, pitting a little bit later than those guys in front of, or that were just behind him. Now they're in front of him. I think those tires are going to kind of equalize out a little bit, and just I'm not sure if he's going to have what he needs to gain that position back.
Well, I tell you what, man, just came on the track here. Calling Mr. Dedication here. That's David Comstock. And a little bit of info about David. Just won his 5th career SIM500 race last night. Kick-ass beef jerky there. But, man, 50 wins. That's pretty darn impressive. He'll be trying to maybe get, 1.
Yeah, I know, David. Yeah, I was actually broadcasting that race with Don Runkle and Aaron Grosskopf, and just right place at the right time for him. I mean, he's obviously had some of those races where he just dominates. This is one where Brian Macklin was actually running really strong all race, and it came to about, I think it was 2 or 3 to go. A caution came out just at the wrong time for Brian, and Brian just didn't get the restart he needed. Made contact with the wall in 1 and 2. David was able to get by him before the caution came out, and David was able to capitalize on that mistake. So he was running up front all night. Don't get me wrong, it's not like he lucked into it, but just to say he was able to capitalize on a mistake and get that win number 50, which at the time I didn't realize that was his 50th win at SIM500. Just goes to show that that guy can wheel it.
Yeah, no doubt. Going to be the king before it's over. It's going to be up there and get 200 wins here at SIM500 to keep that up. And we talked about it. We're coming to the close here to 2019 season, and it's been a very good one here. with the Cup Series here for Transervice Cup Series, that is. Appreciate them coming on board. Obviously, all series. We got the Xfinity Series, like you just mentioned, last. It was a fantastic one. That one will be coming to a close. The Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Series. And then we got the WCI Parts for Wednesday. That will be, that one actually is the final race. We're going to homestead on that one, so that'll be the final there, series for it. So the 2019 season coming to a close. Got a lot of prizes going to be rewarded out. 2020 right around the corner. Can't believe we're already working in another decade. There we go. Get it right. 2020. So we're out of the teens in the 2000s, and it's a new season. We got some new sponsors. But we also got some new things, and we talked about that the other week. A lot of great changes were formed. Check out the website, sim500.com, for all the info and everything about 2020 and what's left here in this season, and the Winter Series coming up, too, for the K&N on Wednesday night. So a lot of great things here at Sim500.
Yeah, I say you nailed it there. Say, like you mentioned, say on Wednesday we're gonna start the Homestead finales. Let's say with the WCIparts.com Truck Series, and of course then progressing Sunday to the Kick-Ass Xfinity Beef Jerky Series, and then of course then next week on Monday with the not WCI Parts. I already said that one, with the Transervice Cup Series. So you're gonna have 3 champions crowned in the next week. It's gonna be really exciting to watch. And like you said, then we got the Winter Series coming up. We've got the Wednesday K&N cards that we're going to be doing, and then also of course the Joe Gibbs series as well, which will be on Mondays. I think it's going to be every other Monday if I'm not mistaken. I'm still waiting for some more details on that one. And then of course, like you said, then we'll be going over to the 2020 series, and I'm going to hopefully be able to hop in the driver's seat a little bit more and improve my racecraft is the goal.
Well, hey, I'm gonna tell you what, we'll be rooting for you there, because more power to you. You guys out here are tough competitors, very fast out here, but you'll do all right, my man, out there tracking. Got a lot to race for too. I mean, not just it's gonna be interesting. We talked about like the 2020 season. They got not just guys winning, but they got guys something new for the chase. The 17th on back. They're gonna have some prizes. Rookie of the year. That's another thing, Gael. I'm gonna sit and mention that you might be in the running for that, right?
I am. I'm saying, as a fellow commentator, Don Ronco, I'll say him and I have been having some more words there, just kind of trying to hype it up a little bit between us, giving each other hard times, like, oh, you don't stand a chance, and things like that. So, now it's going to be a lot of fun.
The oldest rookie of the years there are, right there. There you go.
Exactly. So you've got rookies in their 30s and 40s, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I say I always enjoy racing with these guys, and say when you can race with your friends too, it just makes it that much more fun. So. And we've always had a friendly rivalry to kind of just rib each other, and that's kind of the way it's fun to do.
And I'm gonna have fun up here in the booth, man, calling out one throughout the season. But got to get past this 2019, and right now Daniel Falkenham is the man controlling it up front, with Adam Gillian there in second, Trey Etz in third, Anthony DeBarro fourth, Nick Cohan sitting in fifth. All top 5 drivers are chase drivers. Chad Coleman's there in sixth. He's the last one. Nick Silver actually 10th. He's the last one there. But only 4 of them can go next week, run for the championship, and it is close. Talking 1 point between 2 of these guys here.
Yeah, saying it's getting close for the lead too. I would say Adam's been able to kind of close that gap on Daniel here. So I think unfortunately for Trey, he's still about 3 seconds out off the lead of this battle here. What he's going to have to hope for is if these guys can get to each other and start battling a little bit,
that would be what he needs.
Caution would definitely be something he might be looking forward to. Although, I don't know, in the position Trey is with the points, I think he might be happy just to see it get to the end here, not have to stress about restarts and things like that. And then really good battle here for the lead coming up. I'll say about half a second difference. And then we mentioned for Nick Cohen and Anthony DeBarro, teammates possibly battling for that last spot in. Nick's actually closed the gap. He's within a second now of Anthony there. So, again, he's got slightly fresher tires than DeBarro. I think about 3 laps. They've equalized a little bit, but that's going to be another one to keep an eye on. So, I mean, these obviously battle for wins is going to be critical, but of course, who's going to get that last spot in? That's going to be huge as well. So, That's why we watch the whole 140 laps,
Yeah.
because you never know from lap 1 to lap 140. Like I said last night, unfortunately, caution came out with 2 to go and just completely changed the entire outlook of that race. Not the playoffs, luckily for that one, but yeah, the race itself though just completely changed how things shook out.
You know, and a lot of it, you got to look at Adam right there, Gillian. He has dominated the regular season, won the most races in the regular season, pretty much. Camp. Come in here now. His chase has not been all glory. You would think he was one of the top favorites. He still is pretty much the top favorite here, I would say, coming in if he makes it into next week for the Final Four. But coming in, you know, he had a few ups and downs trying to get to the position he is right now, and that's what he's trying to fight to try to get into that top 4. He did have some mishaps. Doing what he needs to do, though. If he wins this race, what he needs to do to punch his ticket in next week in the Homestead. Now, I say it that way because, no, you don't win and you're in here, but he would point himself in. He's so close here. Now, that's one of the changes in 2020 is you will be able to win in your in style, and that's one of the major changes. But as of right now, no.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. So for future reference, if once we do have the win and get in, if we had that this season, Daniel would have locked himself in at Martinsville, and Dewar would have locked himself in at Texas. So those two would already be on in looking forward to Homestead, whereas Trey Edson and Adam Gillen will still be having to try to race their way in at this point. So it's definitely going to add some intrigue to it. Say we had a race earlier. I can't remember which series it was. It may have been this one where it was actually with Chad Cole and Justin Fuller, where Chad was racing him really hard, just couldn't get around him for the win. But had he been able to advance if he won, and you could have easily seen him maybe be a little more aggressive, knowing that a win would have advanced him there.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the guys have been fast throughout the whole entire season. Yeah, it's just the way the chase rolls sometimes. We see it in real life. We see it here on the sim world. Right now, though, Adam has closed the gap on Daniel. We'll see if he's going to be able to. We've seen guys be able to get up there to the back bumper. But again, track position and just getting those tires where they need to be. I don't know. It's going to be tough. But see Daniel sliding coming out of the turns.
Yeah, I say they're both starting to get a little squirrely on the exit, but I say, like I said, though, right now Adam's on the bumper of that 39 machine, so now it's just kind of try to put that pressure on him. Say we're at 20 to go already in this race, gone green since the start of the race. So I'm kind of trying to, if I could watch two things at once, I'd be watching the battle for the lead, of course, and then also I'm trying to keep an eye on DeBarro and Cohan. Because Cohan, again, he's been closing the gap. It's just kind of been depending on who gets through the traffic how. Say right now, DeBarro was able to get around the 07 of Joey Woods, and so now Nick has to kind of deal with him as well. And that's kind of slowing down his progress there as well, because he was within about half a second. That's kind of stretched out to about a second at this rate.
It is. Nick's still hanging on to 5th. Anthony right there in 4th. Timothy Johnson's in the mix. Like Nick was able to get around him. Got Tommy Ryan pulling along with him. But it's a good one up front. Still, Daniel right there these guys are starting to get wiggly a little bit.
Yeah, Sam. Daniel's starting, definitely looks like his tires are starting to show their age a little bit. Maybe he's ran him a little bit too hard too early. But so you can see that, though, Adam Gilliland is all over the back, and he's trying to find a way to get to that outside quarter panel of Daniel, try to make him not be able to get that full exit, to kind of pinch him down, basically. And he was able to hit around Daniel earlier in the run doing that exact same thing, so I'm sure Daniel learned from it as well. So he's going to have to kind of play defense now. It's going to be tough to play defense for almost 20 more laps in this race, but again, you see Adam gets to that top side. You can see if he can try to make it rotate around there. Just can't quite get it. But as I say that, Daniel gets really loose. That's going to open the door here for the 81.
Yeah, there's a battle for the lead. They're going to go door to door. So can Daniel hold him off or pinch him down? He's going to. Look at this. They're both going to sit up there and rub fenders with each other. That's two chase contenders right there. Knows what's on the line. Adam is trying everything he can. Daniel's there. I think Daniel understands if Adam gets around him, crossover move.
Oh man, this is really good racing. I say they're both. obviously they're not locked in or anything like that yet, but I mean they're giving it everything they have there. Saying now I feel like Adam's got the advantage now. He's got that top side. He's able to get the momentum there off of two. I'm going to give the lead to the 81 there. So he was able to capitalize on that. Just that slight mistake by Daniel there. Got loose, just couldn't hang on to it. Couldn't keep the momentum up. Tried all he could, and like you said, just rubbed a little bit off of turn two. Really good hard racing, but yeah, since they put the 81 in front now.
Yeah, and I think, man, it's just going to be long gone here as Adam is going to set sights and set sail. Daniel just looks like that car's just not up to the handling like it was. He's sliding coming out of the turns. Good side-by-side battle. There's 14 to go here at Phoenix tonight, where we take four, actually we don't crown, but we take 4 drivers. We'll go next week to where we will crown a champion here for the 20 season for the Transervice Cup Series here at SIM500.
Yeah, so I'm keeping an eye on Daniel there, and yeah, like you said, he's just kind of, you can't see every time he exits the turn, it just kind of wiggles a little bit on him. It's just getting a little more squirrely for him. I would say he hasn't really hasn't lost touch with Adam yet, so I mean Adam still has to hit his marks perfectly to not mess it up. But yeah, I'd say that was a really good fight there.
It was up front, and Adam took it, and we talked about it. That's the man that's been on point all season long, dominating with he's had the most wins here of the series. Tonight he's looking to put one more in the bank out front and leading it. Daniel sitting there in second. Nick Cohan, we were talking about him earlier. He's hanging on to fifth. He's still trying to run down Anthony DeBarro.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be the deciding factor of who gets that last spot and if things stand the way they are with everybody else. So I'd say right now they've got about, what's the gap right there? About half a second or so, just over half a second between that 27 and 21. So I think Nick's going to have to really push it these next 11 or so laps that are remaining here. Say no traffic between the two. Say they're coming up on Chris Jabu, but say at this point there's still a fair bit of space between the two of them, and yeah, say it just looks like Nick's in the same position that Daniel is, just starting to get really loose on exit. Their lap times are right there, 0.005 of a second difference between 27 and 21. So they're just running near identical lap times.
And they are. That's what what you just said right there. Probably pretty much identical, and just no way Nick's able to make any ground up. The only hope he could get is if Anthony gets up there, messes a little bit with that lap car. I think that's the only hope that Nick has right now. Obviously, if caution flies, that could change a lot of things too, because we still got and to go in this one.
Yeah, like I said, it actually did happen last night. Again, I'm pretty sure most of I'd say at least for sure the top 3 probably don't want to see him. They're probably pretty happy with where things are for them at the moment. They know they can advance with their current position. But yeah, I'll say some of those other guys though, they want to see something happen so that they can try to shake things up a little bit. But say at the moment though, everybody's done a really good job keeping it clean. Obviously you've seen some really hard racing, but say they've been able to keep everything pointed straight.
Yeah, and they are. And you know what, guys, again, take my hats off to the guys here at SIM 500. So far, caution free here, but a quick race summary. Adam Gillian is our leader. We've completed 132 laps of 144 lead changes. And what I was just going to allude to there is no cautions here. Jinx it, obviously done. But still, to go 133 laps at Phoenix of all tracks. I say it that way because it's been kind of one of those Achilles heel style tracks. But at Phoenix, for them to go that long without a caution, hats off to them.
Yeah, so it's definitely not an easy one to do it at. Let's say short track type racing. I'd say really tough to pass. Would be really easy for these guys to overdrive the turns and get into each other. But they've done a good job so far. As we're coming to, I believe it's going to be coming up to 5 to go here this next time around for Adam Gilliland. Still got about half a second or so over Daniel Falkingham. Obviously the one I'm keeping an eye on is still, it looks like DeBarro's been able to stretch things out over Nick Cohan. Unfortunately for Nick, hasn't got those lap times he's been needing. I think he kind of burned his stuff up trying to get back to DeBarro. But I say so we'll see. I say still got 5 to go. Anything can happen. I say these guys again. They're not just kind of doing a Sunday drive. They're having to kind of wheel these things right now.
And it's just because those tires are starting to give up the ghost out here a little bit. But you see, Adams, the old leading it. Daniel's there in second. But you're right, Nick is off the pace, not gaining on Anthony there. So hopes to try to get in that top 4 as the laps wind down. 5 to go here at Phoenix.
Yeah, so keeping an eye on lap times and everything around, trying to see. So yeah, the last time by DeBarro was about half a tenth quicker than Nick that last lap around. Again, it's about a second difference between the two of them. And then same thing for Adam. He's been running about half a tenth or tenth or so quicker than Daniel. But again, just watching these guys just kind of have to wheel on the exits there. Trey Edson, same thing as well. Say just that pit strategy didn't work out for him as well as he was hoping to, I'm sure. Stayed up probably just a few laps too long there. But yeah, say right now though the field's pretty spread out. Say the biggest battle going on right now is right behind EJ O'Rourke in the 8th position. You've got Scott Simley in 9th, Chad Cole in 10th. Chad's going to try to see if he can get that spot from Simley. And then right behind them is Jose Gonzalez, Nick Silver, and then David Comstock. To say he joined the server just a little bit late, so he's just kind of logging laps right now, just probably trying to learn for future races. That way he can go for win number 51.
Yeah, Mr. Dedicated right there, David Comstock, and he's out there in 20 right now. But you're right, Chad Cole's working over Scott Simley. That's a good battle there. That's for the 9th and 10th place spot. So call him Scott Smiley. He's smiling. He's in the top 10. 2 to go here to end this one out and pretty much to end the chase, because next week will be the championship round of it to end out our, kind of the guys go to the top 4, final 4 here of next week, and it's going to be interesting to see who's going to win that thing.
Yeah, I'll say Adam Gillen saw exactly what he wanted to see right there. Gets that white flag, doesn't have to worry about a caution out in any late race restart craziness. So he's just got to, Daniel Falcon gets really loose off of turn 2 there. But I say so Adams is going to try to make it around here for 3 and 4 one more time. I'm saying he's going to be able to pick up win number 11 this season once he comes off of turn 4 here. And I'm saying obviously that's going to put him into that final 4 here at Homestead.
Absolutely. Adam Gillian's going to put it in victory lane tonight. And right behind him, Daniel Falkenham. Trey Edson's going to come up in the 3rd. Anthony DeBarro 4th. Nick Cohan finished it off in 5th. What a run for these guys here. Phoenix. Caution free the entire time. Man, that's out. That's kind of unheard of.
Yeah, so that's, again, just goes to show what these guys are able to do. I'll say we talked about how difficult it is to pass here. So I definitely want to give a mention, though, to Scott Sinley, qualified 20th, able to come all the way up to the 8th position. So really good job for that 12 car. Again, at a track that's really tough to pass at. So great job by him as well. Absolutely.
Well, we know who the top 3 is. We're going to get a shout out with the top 4 drivers here before it's over with, but bring up old Trey Edson. Pretty much a lot of the top 3 guys are actually going to be the chase guys here.
Yeah, I say we got them all ready to go.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll bring up the top 3 now. Again, we'll get a word in with the actual 4 drivers that are going to go to the chase here. Try to get the points updated as quick as we can. Obviously, we already know pretty much the top 3 here. 3 of these drivers are going to go next week and race for a championship. Wrong?
No, I think you're spot on there. So I think, yeah, you're going to have for sure the 3 are going to be Adam Gilliland, Trey Edson, Daniel Falkingham. And then the question is going to be who that number 4 is. Yeah. But like you said, we at least got the top 3 finishers for tonight, and then we'll definitely find out who that 4th one is. I'll say Joey will definitely let us know as quick as he can, I'm sure.
Well, let's bring up Trey Edson here tonight. Let's get.
Yeah, so I caught up here with the number 40 Transervice Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 with Trey Edson. So they started on pole, led all the way through to the pit stops? Is just kind of maybe, as I'm sure obviously you guys weren't kind of expecting it to go green all the way, but say, do you think just the timing of your pit strategy, just that kind of what doomed you, or were you kind of just hanging on at that point?
So my goal was if I could lead till lap 71, it would give me another point for leading the most laps, just because you never know. I mean, you could get a late race, you're starting to get wrecked or something crazy, and so I was trying to get that extra bonus point. So just that one lap, I think Adam jumped me. I think I looked at our in lap just now, and then your out lap, and it was something like 2 or 3 seconds. So Daniel was 5 or 6 laps ahead of us. I knew I was going to come up behind him. I think I just was very conservative getting on a pit road, and then Adam and I were teammates, and our pit signs kind of look alike. So I initially like forgot I got the pole, and sort of like checked up and turned towards his stall. I can't believe we've ran 35 races and I haven't done it before tonight, but that was another thing. So lost a little bit of speed there. I think I ran them down about 3 to 4 seconds, and then it just died, and then I realized I wasn't going to get there, so I made sure to be easy on the throttle and not do anything stupid, and kind of big picture raced.
Yeah, say, yeah. Well, say maybe give yourself an idea. Maybe tweak that pit board for Homestead, 'cause obviously that's gonna be one to go after now. Say, because we know for sure, obviously that you and Daniel and Adam will be at least 3 of the 4 going on to Homestead with your finishes tonight. So we'll say initially, of course, want to congratulate you on that one. I'll say, but just take us through the race though, just the track itself. I'll say, and I didn't even think about the idea of leading the most laps going to that 71. That way you don't have to worry about it from then on out. So that's a really good idea there. And then of course, then like I said, just making sure you get to the end, no craziness or anything like that. But say, for the track itself and the car, say, how did it feel for you tonight?
It was really strange. I took off pretty good. Daniel kind of rode my bumper there, made me go a little bit harder than I wanted to, and, but I still was able to save and kind of stay in the lead. But yeah, I didn't really take off the green flag thinking, hey, I'm going to lead till lap 71. It just, as we went there, I was like, well, there's 40, there's 50. You know, like if I could get to 71, then I clinched that. So it was really free off of 2, about 15 to 20 laps in. And then your last maybe 20 laps of a run, it got real loose off of 4. I mean, I was probably 50 to 60% throttle all the way back up onto the front stretch. And turn 2, you just kind of wanted to come off with a straight wheel, and it would still kind of want to jump out on you. And it made me kind of scared to keep pulling it to the apron if it wanted to do anything crazy. So the second run, once we pitted, I took off, and you're kind of expecting the track to go through the same cycle with the tires. And I was just really tight, just tighter than I had been all night. And then it kind of started doing the same old thing where it wanted to get free off of 2 and 4, but it wasn't as bad, but it was still there. So the track did go through some changes, but yeah, I mean, we kind of, with it being green, you know, we were so spread out. It's kind of been like that all season. That top 5, I think we've ran around each other all season long. So I seem to be, if a race goes like that, I always seem to be third to Adam and Daniel. So it was kind of, I hope that's not how we are next Monday, but it'll be fun to kind of, you're locked into that 4, and you know, there's nothing to worry about. You just go out there and race. So that's it's the first kind of chase I've ever been a part of. It's really the first time I've ran a full season of sim racing since like late 2000s. So it's kind of fun to go through the elimination rounds and get to go race for a championship.
Yeah, he says definitely a long season. Say just one more to go, and obviously that'll want to be for all the marbles. But definitely want to give you the opportunity here for give the thanks and shouts to your any sponsors, viewers, things like that before we let you go tonight.
Yeah, man. First and foremost is Transervice. Joey kind of linked me with Glenn before the season, and it's been a pretty good partnership. We've ran well all year, got him exposure. It's cool to put the Transervice car in the Transervice series and try to go get him a championship. So it was kind of something that came together late. I think I finished the paint scheme the night before we qualified for Daytona, because we did the single car qualifying back in February. So try to kind of finish that up last minute. So I got to thank everybody. You guys, y'all have done a great job this last half of the year. Looking forward to everything going forward with the league. Y'all do a great job. I'll probably go back and watch my super safe pit entry tomorrow. Let's see here. We got English Auto. I got to thank them for being a part of the league. Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. They're on my truck. We get to go run for a title for them Wednesday night. Let's see. OnSiteGas.com, WCI Parts, Nemesis Labs, and Ford Entertainment Group. They're all the partners here with the league, and without them, we wouldn't be able to go out here and do this. So I don't know if I'll be back for an interview tonight. Joey said something about doing top 8 or top 4. I don't know if this is it or if we're gonna come back, but y'all let me know if I can skedoodle on out of here.
Yeah, so I'll let you work that out with the boss on that one. But yeah, I want to congratulate you again on that 3rd place finish tonight. I say, and definitely look forward to watching you next week at Homestead, and of course, like you said, on Wednesday as well in the WCRparts.com Truck Series. So I'm getting great runs tonight, and say we'll catch you next week at Homestead.
All right, guys, appreciate it. See you then.
All right, there you go, 3rd place man, Trey Edson. Well, let's bring up this guy here because, he finished 4th, but, it's kind of unique here, Gael, because the top 4 guys, well, they are the 4th next week. But let's bring up the man who made the 4th place here. Heard him with him, Anthony DeBarro. Going to go next week to try for a championship.
Yeah, say caught up here with Anthony DeBarro. Say that fourth spot going into the playoffs at Homestead, finishes 4th tonight. And just to make it even that much closer, 1 point I should say ahead of your teammate Nick Cohan there, to be able to lock yourself in there. Were you kind of keeping an eye on your interval with that 21 car going into those last few laps there, or what was your mindset going into that last stretch, pretty much?
Yeah, he definitely kept me honest, and I had to drive my butt off there to stay in front of him. But I think he was a little better than me, to be honest. I think it was just a track position game, how these cars are and how everyone's so close. So luckily we had a great qualifying effort. We were able to just not make mistakes, and I think that was the key there. He did a smart move by leading a lap. I didn't really think too much of that, because I wouldn't even be able to let him go by if I did lead a lap too. I should have stayed out longer and led my lap and then pitted, but it worked out in the end, and it was a great season by Nick. I mean, he should keep his head high. He was running me down there, and then he slipped off 2 there, and ultimately that's what he gave his time there.
Yeah, I say we're kind of keeping an eye on the things up front, and then obviously with you guys as well. Because yeah, I mean it was really tight. I mean, even Chad Coleman, he was only 4 points out of that cutoff spot as well. So definitely a lot of close racing there with you guys. Of course, it's going to definitely change next season with that win and get in. So that's going to add to the intrigue a little bit too. Maybe add some for more pit strategies, things like that, instead of doing the full points attack and things like that. But I'll say so. Obviously, Homestead next week. What are your thoughts going into that one? Any feelings? Maybe one of your stronger tracks, or I'll say just maybe what your mindset's going to be going into there.
I pretty much you're gonna have to win the race to win the championship. I think with the 4 guys we got here, so just have to go in and hopefully repeat Texas. I mean, you got a similar surface there to Texas, so hopefully how strong we are, Texas carries over. I mean, it hasn't been the greatest track for me, but I'll have to work my butt off this week and see where we end up.
So I'll definitely look forward to seeing you there. And I say, actually, before we go though, you've got a lot of people that have helped you get to this point. So I want to give you also an opportunity for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for making it to that Final Four in Homestead.
Yeah, you guys at the ORN SIM network there, you guys do a great job each week. All the guys at Dizzy, Nick, Shane, Brendan helping us out, Tim. We all have a good time each week. We have fun, and I hate it we couldn't get 2 cars in, but at least got 1. But we'll talk to you guys next week, and we'll see what we can do.
Alright, sounds good. So number 27 Toyota Camry of Anthony DeBarro, one of the Final 4 going into Homestead, and definitely excited to see what they'll be able to put on there. But I'll say before that happens though, we still got a few more people to interview, and got the runner-up finisher of Daniel Fockingham coming up here as well.
Yeah, runner-up man here, Daniel.
Yeah, got Daniel Fockingham. Really liked your pit strategy there, short pitting that a little bit, able to jump in front and grab the lead. Just not quite enough to hang on, hold off that number 81 car. But say big picture, of course, going on to Homestead for go for that title. But say before we get to that though, I mean, take us through your race. How'd you feel like it went?
I think pretty much went about as perfect as it could. I mean, the main goal tonight was to get to Homestead, and we did just that. I mean, it was going to be tough to win because it looked like Adam was definitely the quickest on the long run. And just to, prevent me from getting undercutted, from DeBarro and all those guys. That's why I pitted just right before halfway, because looking at the fuel, we were pretty close on fuel, but we had just had enough to just go over halfway. So that's why I decided to box with like pretty much right a lap before halfway, and then just the fresh tires just put me out front by a good margin. And then eventually, even though it was only one lap, fresher tires Adam had, tires made a big difference with pretty much how greasy the track was tonight. So I pretty much, and also the other thing was try to get bonus points too, so luckily we got that for leading a lap. Just the main thing was trying to maximize points tonight, and that's what we did just that. It's still been nice to try to win the race, try to do the whole season sweep here, but the main thing is we had big picture plans tonight, and we went on and did just that.
Yeah, so there was a couple strategies. Trey, he tried to make sure he led 71 laps to make sure he could get the bonus points for the most laps led as well. Nick stayed out trying to get a lap led as well, so he stayed out as long as he could. So I'll say, and then of course you had the strategy to short pit that a little bit to jump ahead of those guys in front of you. So I'll say a lot of good pit strategy there to make that happen. But yeah, I'll say, so now going forward though, any thoughts of what to expect or what you're going to be planning on to try to make that title happen at Homestead?
The main key for next week, I think, is trying to just stay out of trouble and make sure you qualify good, because even though with this package, it's going to be an unknown going to Homestead, because we have never run this package at Homestead before. So it's definitely going to be an unknown for everybody, and from what I'm hearing, what I can tell already is track position is definitely going to be key more than any other mountain hat, just because the way the track is, it's not like a almost tri-oval shape. It's almost like it's like an actual oval, so the turns are a lot tighter. So yeah, and then I don't know like what time of day we're running next week, where we go just run all in the daytime or go from day to night, however that's going to play out. But it's definitely good. It's like I said, it's definitely going to be a big unknown going into next week. So we're definitely going to have to adapt. And plus, the race is really long next week. I think about 150 laps or something like that. So definitely patience will be key. Trying to take care of your right front, because I know your right front. If you don't take care of that right front, you're going to be going backwards in a hurry. So definitely a lot of things to correlate, but if we can do just that and try to beat out my other three competitors, we could be taking the title even next week.
Sam, before I let you go tonight, I definitely want to give you opportunity for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for obviously your second place run tonight, and of course for being able to make it to that Final Four at Homestead here next week.
Yes, I absolutely got to thank First Rate Bay Lives 207 for all their support all season long, and feel very privileged to take them to Miami, see if we can win a championship. Also got to thank Joey and the guys who run the show here at SIM500. We had a really good race tonight, went green all the way, so definitely shows the group of guys we're racing with tonight, so hats off to everybody. Also got to thank Transervice for all they do for the series. I know whoever wins next week's championship will definitely represent this series well, so, and I can't wait for them to come back in 2020. We got a lot of big things planned for 2020, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. And also got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, and also thank you to everyone who watched the race tonight. And congrats to my other competitors, Trey, Adam, and Anthony, for making it to the Final Four with me.
So there you have it. Second place finisher. Moving on to Homestead, is going to fight for that title there next week, and say the number 39 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 of Daniel Fockingham.
And I tell you what, it was a good run by him, like you said, and a good pit strategy here. But this guy has dominated. Adam Gillian, Joe White in the booth, got a copy.
I got you, Joe.
You have been the main man all season long. Can they stop the train come next week at Homestead, because you punched yourself in there to try to race for a title? You got one more race. Can you get the job done?
I sure hope so. It was nice tonight to be able to lock in and not have to, not be going home without a shot at the championship, that's for sure. Really great to see it go green tonight. It was hot and slick, and it was a really fun race.
Yeah, and Daniel out there, he did a good pit strategy. Was you kind of worried you was going to be able to run him down in time with the tire wear the way it was, and then once you even got there, was able to get around him?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that he only pitted, I think, 1 lap before I did, and that 1 lap he was able to almost pull 3 seconds because I had about a second on him out back, and then he got about 2.5 seconds out front when I came out. So I was really surprised by that. I really got in pit road pretty good. I thought I actually almost tore the whole right side off in the pit barrels because I was so aggressive. But yeah, I really thought I did good there, and I guess I must have had a really slow pit stop. I really didn't think I was going to be able to get to him past him. I thought the tires would eventually, show, and I could probably get to his bumper. But with how tough it was to pass on the outside, he made that one mistake off 4 and got loose. And I drove in 3, and as Dale Jr. said, I threw a slide job, and it stuck. So that felt good.
Oh, absolutely. And y'all was door to door trading some paint out there. Gotta love it. Some awesome racing. But you did. You put it in victory lane tonight. You put it in the victory lane the most times of any driver this season. Going into next week, though, one more time. If you put it in victory lane that last time, you're going to be the 2019 champ. Got to look ahead to that. But relish in the moment tonight. You put it in victory lane here at Phoenix. Got anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, as always, just got to thank Gary Mercer Trucking and Brennan Mercer for all the support and all the years of being on the car. It really has been a fun time all year to run this league. I don't know if I'll be able to be back next year, but I've had a great time this year, and can't thank Joey and everyone at SIM500 enough for putting this league together. It's best league out there in my opinion. Obviously, you got to thank you guys for the broadcast. It's always a treat to go back and watch these races, and hopefully we'll be able to get the job done at Homestead.
Hey, I tell you what, it's been awesome, man, watching y'all week in and week out do y'all's things on the track. One more race, but again, congratulations on the win tonight here at Phoenix.
Thank you so much.
All right, I tell you what, Gael, let's go to the unofficial results because Adam Gillian puts it in victory lane. Daniel Falkenham comes up to second. Trey Hudson third. Anthony Navarro in fourth. And those 4 drivers, all 4 of them next week will go next week to Homestead and battle it out for the title here of the service. About a SIM500. Nick Cohen comes up in 5th, Timothy Johnson 6th, Chad Coleman 7th, Scott Simley 8th, Chad Cole 9th, EJ O'Rourke's 10th. We look to the rest of it here. One more race. We close it out for the 2019 season. It was awesome here at Phoenix. Caution free.
Yeah, so these guys did a really good job again. Racing hard but respectful, so able to go caution free. I mean,